Hello and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Derek Strauss with Gavroshe, and today I have the pleasure of talking with Sham Kashikar. Sham has held a number of very interesting positions. He's held senior data and AI leadership roles in several prominent organizations, including the global head of data and at Meta and the chief data officer at Intel. He's also held key positions at VMware, at McAfee, and various startups. Through these experiences, he has gained valuable insights into building strategic relationships by fostering collaboration with both internal stakeholders and external parties. So, Sham, welcome.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you for having me today.
Excellent. Sham, I know that when we spoke before, you had mentioned that you had so many great use cases and examples to share with us. And I know that they're going to be pretty much across the broad spectrum of your experience, so including some prominent industry examples. So just wanted to state that up front for our listeners, that this is not all limited to any one of the experiences that Sham has had. It's a mixed bag from a number of different areas. I'm sure offline he'd be happy to dive into more details on any one of these with anyone that wants to chat further. But what we're going to be focusing on is we've got three segments that we're going to be running, and each segment is going to be focused on one or two topics. This first segment, we're going to be looking at two key things. We're going to look at breaking down data silos and building strategic partnerships. Two very important things for the chief data officer or anyone who's leading data and AI in their organization. Let's jump straight into the first topic then. Strategies for creating data-driven cultures that encourage cross-functional collaboration and data sharing within the organization must be an absolute forefront focus of any chief data officer. Sham, in terms of your experience, you must have seen many times that opportunities were missed due to a lack of cross-functional collaboration and data sharing. Can you give us some examples and some thoughts on that?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Derek. That is a great question. So cross-functional collaboration and data sharing are essential to unlocking the true value of your data and AI program, really enabling the strategic growth, smart decision-making, and really driving forward the organization based on the data, which is very essential. Let me give you an example at a fast-growing B2B company. So that company came out of a very high growth period, and of course the culture was going fast. And as a part of that, the situation, there was no enterprise grade data infrastructure in place. There was no concept of data governance or overall governance as a principle. And that led many of the business functions like sales, marketing, customer success, product, finance, product team to build their own data infrastructure, because the centralized technology team or IT team, they were just providing data pipelines. That is just not enough to really make it a strategic initiative. And that fragmented or siloed data infrastructure or data solutions resulted in a lot of inconsistencies in terms of information interpretation. Of course, lost productivity, and it was limiting their ability to really drive the strategic growth or focusing on the strategic opportunities. The impact on the business was very clear because there was no cohesive customer 360 or customer insight available, where sales team couldn't find what is the customer product usage. So they couldn't properly do cross-sell, upsell. Customer success team, they could not flag at risk customer in time. Marketing couldn't target effectively the new logos. And in summary, the impact was suboptimal renewal rates, as well as missed target on new logo acquisition. That is an example where lack of collaboration and data sharing can impact the organization.
Yeah, that's a great example. It's amazing how many missed opportunities there have been, I think, in any company because of that fundamental thing. If you think about it, again, from a CDO's perspective, what kind of strategies could a CDO employ to break down the data silos?
Breaking down data silos is very important. And the strategies can really depend on the organization's culture and maturity in a variety of different areas. But with that said, there are some strategies or approaches which were proven working very well. And I'm going to focus on those. The foremost is really having a clear vision and executive buy-in on your data program. What is that you are going to achieve? And when I say executive buy-in, it should be at the enterprise level where it should be involving all the cross-functional team, which are critical to drive the organization. Other things that you have to employ in place, promoting data literacy programs, establishing cross-functional teams or data champions. And there are a variety of different flavors of how you implement cross-functional data forums, having champions within the business unit. They can be liaison with the technology or data provider team, or they can be self-service mode as well. But having the champion is also very important. Building data communities, that is also my favorite. And when I say data communities, Derek, what I mean by that is people are really coming together and sharing information, which is not helping their own function, but is helping other functions as well. And the value of the data, we are, as I always say, that is in the connectedness, right? And having a standard governance function in place is also equally important. Have standard definitions, matrix definition, data quality programs, where trust in data is the key. If people are not trusting the data, your collaboration will be very limiting in that case. So that is very important. And last but not least, I would say, is investing in modern scalable data infrastructure, data and AI infrastructure. It cannot be siloed. It has to be well architected solution which serve the enterprise. Going back to my earlier example, right? So how do we do that? So when we analyze the situation, and of course for the organization or the leadership, new customer acquisition and improving the renewal rates was a key part of the strategy. So as a part of that, we developed a shared vision by collaborating with all the leaders, sales, marketing, finance, customer success, product team. And we developed a common goals across all the companies. When we say you want to acquire new customers or new logos, it also has implication on customer success team. How do you quickly onboard them? But just to quickly summarize, we established the basic data governance function with clear roles and responsibilities. Also, we define what is the core data infrastructure is going to look like, data warehousing, AI, ML, capabilities on top of that. And now, of course, there was a lot of communication. Constant communication and change management is a horizontal. You cannot just focus on delivering something. Communication, as we always say, that you never over communicate. So with that said, the results were phenomenal. There was one consistent source of truth. So the debate on whose data is right was gone, mostly gone. And people were focusing on actually using the data, driving the strategies, whether it's the marketing, whether it's the sales, or the cross-sell, upsell. Not only build predictive modeling for customer buying pattern, cross-sell, upsell. Not only the AI ML models were built, but they were integrated with the CRM system as well as the sales processes. So it can be consumed when they need it, when they are interacting with customer or where they're taking action on whatever opportunities they are working on or campaigns they are executing. And with that said, within, I think, 9 months to 1 year, the impacts were amazing. The renewal rates improved by 20%, and the new logo acquisition or new customer acquisition was improved by more than 7%.
That's phenomenal. That's really good stuff. Yeah, a really comprehensive approach is always better than just little piecemeal point solution type work. And I think that we've all seen the real benefits of really understanding the big picture and going after a number of these areas simultaneously, as well as having that horizontal that you talked about, which is the organizational change management side of it. Sounds like a really great approach, certainly. And congratulations for pursuing that approach.
Thank you.
Now, shifting focus now to our next topic, we wanted to have a look at strategic partnerships and how to leverage external partnerships with technology vendors and research institutions and industry consortia in order to try and accelerate AI adoption and innovation. Sham, what value is there in your mind in collaborating with external parties when it comes to data and AI?
Yeah, I think that is one another great area where you can really unlock the value of the data by tapping into the ecosystem. So the collaboration with external parties or vendors, or it could be institute, research institute, can be a powerful strategic lever. If done right, it can bring lots of benefits to an organization. One of the things which comes to my mind is faster innovation and fresh thinking. When you are collaborating with external parties, they are going to bring different perspectives. And whenever you have different perspectives, it pushes the innovation. Of course, some of the other things could be speed to market, cost efficiencies, because when you are really leveraging the entire ecosystem or partnership, you can leverage a lot of resources on domain expertise, and which can really benefit in terms of bringing operational excellence or cost effectiveness. Also, it can provide you access to specific talent. It could be AI talent, it could be domain expertise, it could be data infrastructure, other benefits like scalability. You learn how to really comply with the risk and security issues. Uh, We can learn from the industry, and that can enhance your compliance programs as well.
Yeah. How do you actually go about doing it? That's the theoretically, absolutely, it would be great, but practically getting it done, how would you go about it?
Yeah, so let me give a couple of examples, and then we can talk about how. And one of the example from which is a great example from the industry is the Open Power AI Consortium, which is my favorite example because it is really focusing on the energy sector and which can help our climate. So in that partnership, many of the leading energy companies like Duke Energy, PG&E, they are partnering with some of the very leading AI and data vendors like Microsoft, Amazon, Nvidia. And the goal there is really to develop AI and GenAI open source model focusing on the energy sector, how to optimize the energy grid, the maintainability of the grid, how do we bring the efficiency in the energy, and that could really have a huge impact, not only on the energy sector, not only on the profitability or efficiencies, but on our life as well. As I mentioned, it can help improve the climate, right? So if any efficiency in energy is a great welcome. With that said, how do you go about partnership? So when we say any successful partnership really start with identifying what is the business strategy and business goal that you have. That is very important. You cannot just focus on point solution here and there. So you need to understand what is your organization's needs are, what is your maturity in variety of different areas. It could be AI talent pool, it could be infrastructure, it could be domain expertise, it could be security and compliance. And once you understand that, you need to be very specific about what is the outcome, business outcome you are now looking for out of this partnership. And in that case, you need to be very specific, not only with the areas I already mentioned, but you need to define specific use cases so you can measure the outcome. And once you have that in mind, then you have to explore which partners are available in the industry. You look for a partner not only who is technical expert or who has expertise in the data or AI infrastructure or domain expertise, but also aligns with your value and vision. That is also very important. And once you identify that, then you create that partnership. I will give an example. One of the company, a leading digital product analytics company, Amplitude. So their platform provides analytics on user behavior across different channels and how do they look at your product and how they interact with your product and eventually whether they buy your product or not. They partner with a company called Beam AI. Beam AI is automation workflow focused AI agent provider. And so when you bring data and technical capabilities from these two companies together, organization can really track user journey across different platforms and different systems. So just to give you an example, let us say in a retail industry, the Beam AI identifies that users are leaving the shopping cart, and there is a big spike in leaving the shopping cart. They identify that, they send that signal to Amplitude, analyze the root cause, why that is happening, and they suggest corrective action. It could be complicated checkout form, it could be loading time, and businesses can then improve their checkout process, and and they can improve the not only customer experience as well as the conversion rate for them.
Yeah. Yeah, the more people are involved from different perspectives and the more they collaborate, I think that's fundamentally the message that you're giving us is let's break down all the silos, let's communicate, let's get all the stakeholders, plus anyone external that can help us, and let's do this thing. Let's do it right. I think it's a great message. Operating in silos and trying to do everything as point solutions, that doesn't work. And we need to abandon that way of doing things and really get our heads focused on a much better way of going about it. So I think this has been great just to kick us off. So please be sure to check out the CDO magazine.tech and watch out for the next two segments. And Sham and I will see you then.